So you heard that Citroen is launching a new SUV in the Indian market. Some of you may have even smirked, which is understandable considering that the brand has not had any runaway success with any of the SUVs that it has launched in India up till now. However, let's get the naysaying out of the way. Yes, this is the new C3 Aircross. It does not come with LED headlamps, it instead gets a set of halogen headlamps. Yes, it does not come with an automatic gearbox either. And also there is no all-wheel drive on offer. It also does not come with a lot of the fancy equipment that people like to see in the mid-sized SUV segment these days. Now with all that out of the way, let's focus on what makes this SUV special and why you should take a closer look at it. Now in terms of design, as you can see, this is unmistakably a C3 SUV with the Citroen logo sitting in the center and the Y-shaped LED DRLs that you see covering the lighting area in the upfront. The bonnet looks very sharp and muscular because of these sculpted parts that you see up front, and then you also get a pair of fog lamps in the Citroen C3 as well. The front grille has been finished in piano black and also gets some white colored inserts as you can see in the footage here. However, the special part about the Citroen C3's front is the 20.5-degree approach angle that this SUV offers. To add to that, it also gets 200 mm of ground clearance. Now the car that you see here is finished in the special cosmic blue that you see and paired with the dual tone option for the white roof here. Moving to the side of the C3 Aircross, it becomes apparent that this is actually a much wider and longer car than the C3 that we are familiar with. It also gets a class-leading wheelbase which is upwards of 2600 mm and opens up a lot of room inside that we will talk about very shortly. In terms of design, you can check out the 17-inch diamond cut alloy wheels that you see up there, and there also is a lot of plastic cladding for a bit of rough use and protection against stone chips and other things that you may come across while driving on rough terrain. Then there is also this additional plastic cladding on the doors themselves as well. The ORVMs in the C3 Aircross are electrically adjustable, but they do not open or close electronically. Then you also get these flap style door handles that do the job well. They are basic, but they get the job done. The front fender of the C3 Aircross is again muscular and merges into the shoulder line of the SUV, which you see running across till the rear quarter panel. The window area is ample, and here in the rear window you see a trapezoidal kind of shape taking place, which is something that we have not seen in other car brands and differentiates the Citroen from the others in this segment. Again, here on the rear side, you see this rear quarter window which wraps around and merges into the rear window as well. However, the most special part about the C3 Aircross is this. When was the last time you actually saw a keyhole in one of the modern SUVs that you see in this segment? At the rear too, the C3 Aircross has grown both in maturity and design aspects. Starting on the top with these two hunches and the rear spoiler that you see in this car. Then you've got your rear defogger, your rear wiper. There is very minimal use of chrome, which looks really classy in this Aircross, starting with the logo and the badging that you see here. The PureTech badging that you see there signifies that it is actually a turbocharged petrol. Then you get this center piano black finished plaque that also looks really nice to me personally. Coming to the tail lamps of the C3 Aircross, these are a very sharp unit and get a very unusual design, something that we have not seen in other brands that cater to the mid-sized SUV segment. The stop lamps get a 3D pattern. Then of course you have your rear reverse parking camera down there and also two sensors to let you know about the proximity of objects around the car. You also get this silver finished plastic scuff plate at the back of this SUV, and the departure angle for the C3 Aircross is at 25 degrees, which makes it really capable and useful during rough road use. But that's not all. The main selling point of the Citroen C3 Aircross is in fact this third row of seating that it offers to customers. You can also fold these seats down, and you can also remove them and take them out and open up a space of 511 liters in the C3 Aircross that can further be extended, pulling down the seats of the second row. Now, before I introduce you to the third row of the Aircross, let's check out what kind of comfort is on offer in this second row here. Now, the seats are fairly comfortable for me here. I'm a person with a height of 5'11", and there is ample amount of headroom here, and the knee room is not too bad as well. However, the under-thigh support is not the best here in the C3 Aircross. Another main selling point of the C3 Aircross is this roof-mounted AC control unit that you see here, that the company claims is highly effective in tropical conditions. It gets 3 speeds for the fan. However, this unit will most probably not be on offer in the lower trims of the C3 Aircross. While the second row will be comfortable for 2 passengers very easily, fitting 3 inside can get a little cumbersome over longer drives. Now let's check out the third row and see how Citroen has managed to put those 2 seats back there and how they feel like. Now, getting into the third row of the C3 Aircross is a pretty simple affair with this tumble down second row seat that you see here. Now, let's try to get inside this SUV. So here I am in the third row of the Citroen C3 Aircross. Well, a third row it definitely is. However, it is not for adults and will be suitable for smaller children at best. As you can see here, my legs are pretty cramped up here in the C3, and I don't think that I will be able to last in this third row for even a half an hour. However, this third row also means that the Citroen C3 gets a lot of boot space on offer. You've got seat belts for the third row. You have also got these 2 hooks on either side of the third row of the C3 that have a load bearing capacity of 3 kgs. Apart from that, there is not much going on here in the third row of the C3, but you still get 2 cup holders on either sides. While this is definitely a pretty cramped area, this scooped out area in the roofline does give you a bit of headroom in this third row to make things a little bit more comfortable. Now that we are done with the second and third row of the C3 Aircross, let's put our focus on what kind of cabin experience there is in the front of the SUV. Starting with the dashboard, you can see it is a very upright and purposeful dashboard that Citroen has built for this SUV. While there is the use of special elements like this bronze insert that you see in the center of the dashboard, everything else is pretty basic and to the point, and most importantly, it is very practical. The 10.2-inch screen up there is surprisingly intuitive to use, and the touch response is just spot on. It also supports wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Then you have got these horizontally placed air vents that do a good job of cooling you inside the front cabin of the SUV. There is no fancy automatic climate control or dual zone AC for that matter in the C3 Aircross. What you get are these 3 knobs to operate your basic AC functions that do a good job on a hot summer day as today when we are driving this car. Down below you see additional storage spaces including a mobile holder, but it would have been better if this had come with a wireless charger because the setup seems to be perfectly created for something like that. Then you also get 2 cup holders below, and here you get the 6-speed manual transmission gear shifter, which is chunky to hold and very easy to operate. While the 10.2-inch touchscreen up there is paired to a 6-speaker audio system that sounds really nice, you also get a 7-inch fully digital MID up front here for the driver information. The resolution is not the best, but it is not very bad as well, and the system also gives you a host of information such as trip details, tachometer reading, and also what kind of range you have left in the car. The steering wheel unit is pretty basic but also gets multifunction buttons on either sides and is also a flat bottom unit. While the materials might seem basic for the steering wheel, it is pretty light to use and is very comfortable in city conditions. The overall theme that you see inside the C3 Aircross's cabin is divided into three color schemes, which is this white and the black and this bronze part that you see in the middle that can also be had in a grey color scheme. The rear view again is pretty basic and does not get any fancy tech. The cabin lighting is taken care of by this yellow unit that you see up here. Then you also get sunshades that does get a vanity mirror on the passenger side. While I wouldn't say that the C3 Aircross's cabin is the most premium out there, it is pretty functional and will definitely last a long time as it is durable due to these hard plastics that are offset by these soft touch white bits in the door panels and the center of the dashboard. The front seats on the other hand might be a dirt magnet, but the lower part of the seats has been finished in leatherite so that it can be cleaned easily. What a person will have to worry about is the fabric bits on the top side of the seat. In terms of comfort, the front seats do an adequate job. They are not the best, but they are not pretty bad as well. You also get an armrest for the driver's side front seat, which is always good during longer rides. So, first impressions that I would like to share with you regarding the driving of the C3 Aircross on a paved highway is that it seems to be very well contained. The NVH levels are not anything to be complaining about in the C3 Aircross, and in terms of engine, both the 5-seater and the 7-seater C3 Aircross is offered with the same 1.2 litre turbo petrol engine, which produces around 110 PS of power and 190 Newton meters of torque. While those figures might seem modest on paper, I have to give it to Citroen for the tuning that they have done on this engine and the gearbox that I'm driving, the 6-speed manual. And that is because the car does not feel out of breath in any rev band, so to say. Even right now I had come down to almost 30-40 kmph and was in 4th gear, but the car effortlessly picked up pace and started moving along on the road without any input from me in terms of gear or in terms of a downshift. Now in terms of suspension, Citroen tells us that this also gets the flying carpet effect from the suspension setup that the automaker has given the C3 Aircross. And even during the rough patches, the car did not throw up any squeaks or rattles, and that goes a long way to say about how well tuned and refined the suspension setup on the C3 Aircross is. In terms of on-road performance, the car is pretty stable. It soaks in the bumps without any effort and also feels pretty planted at highway speeds. Like right now, I am doing 100 kmph and I could really not wish for anything more from the C3 Aircross. Then there are the brakes. The brakes on the C3 Aircross again are a no-nonsense affair. They perform well and they bring the car to a complete halt from high speeds without much fuss at all. So while the C3 Aircross does not get an extensive list of flashy features and functions, it does what it is supposed to do very well, which is keeping the passengers comfortable while giving the driver an engaged driving experience. Another positive that I noticed driving the C3 Aircross is the performance of the 6-speaker audio system. It has ample of bass and treble and does not feel underpowered or out of tune at any point. The engine noise inside the cabin is at the amount that you would expect, and while you are coasting, you may not even hear it. It is only under hard acceleration where the C3 Aircross's engine starts to become a little audible, but not uncomfortably audible at any point. While cruising along this highway, the performance of the 1.2-litre turbo petrol is pretty satisfactory. I would like to tell you that while a turbo lag is there, it is very well masked, because as soon as you cross the 2000 RPM mark, the car starts to pick up pace in a very comfortable manner and can hold triple-digit speeds all day long without any problem. Now that is something that I am pleasantly surprised by to see in this segment. Considering the plethora of fancy safety and convenience features that the C3 Aircross misses on, I am betting that Citroen might be able to price this SUV in such a manner that it undercuts all its competition. And in terms of driving comfort and performance, with the added benefit of the third row in the 7-seater model of this SUV, it just might make a strong case for itself among buyers. So overall, what we have learned is that the C3 Aircross does not get flashy equipment like LED headlamps. It does not get flashy features such as wireless charging, ventilated seats, a sunroof, and a bunch of other things that people are very excitedly looking for in the SUV segment these days. However, it aces in other important departments, which are performance, handling, even rough road use. While the materials inside the cabin of the C3 Aircross might not be as premium as its competitors, they are very well done and very well put together, and together they give a feel of premiumness inside the cabin of the C3 Aircross. While all these hard plastics may give you an impression that Citroen maybe has cheaped out on the cabin, however, they will definitely stand the test of time and will reward an extended ownership period. So overall, I will be walking away very impressed with the Citroen C3 Aircross. However, on one condition, that the automaker prices this highly competitively and aggressively. Because if they are able to do that, then the Aircross really does make a case for itself. So that was the 2023 C3 Aircross SUV. It is capable where it needs to be. It is also frugal. However, it does not get the long list of flashy features that people like to see in this segment. But it does get a very peppy engine and super comfortable ride and handling. Overall, I think that if Citroen manages to give a starting price of around Rs 10 lakh to the C3 Aircross, then they could have a solid winner on their hands. Now, while no prices have been shared with us right now, they will be announced in September, and deliveries for this SUV are slated to begin by October. Let us know what you thought about the C3 Aircross in the comment section below. Like always, do remember to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more such content. Until next time, this is Amber Banerjee signing out.